If someone had said to me a couple of weeks ago, I'm buying a William Powell Prestige as my new game gun, I probably would have scoffed. However, I had my mind changed. I shot game with one of these, and since that day, I haven't been able to get it out of my mind. So this drive started very quickly, mostly because I started shooting for some B-roll before it was a drive, and it's a partridge drive, and it is the most beautiful partridge drive I think I've probably stood in a long time. I've had one shot. This gun is the daddy.
Oh yeah.
I knew when we saw it out this morning, I fell deeply in love.
Oh yeah. It's what, just over 8 pounds of absolute joy.
It's the sort of gun that once you've shot it, and there's a very elite group of guns, that once you shoot them, every other gun just feels inferior.
Yeah.
And that's a real issue.
It's got a really nice palm swell in it as well, so it feels the hand. Obviously for a chap like yourself with big hands, it does feel
deep cut out of the back as well, so it just...
Lovely. Comes with the recoil pad as standard as well, so it's been designed as the high bird gun.
Yeah.
Obviously lovely bit of timber on it as well, solid rib, something Italian starting with a P, and it's another good few grand.
It's another £4,000 without any engraving. I could fall in love with this so easily. Is it? Yeah, I was going to say. This is fast and furious. They're coming from everywhere.
Left and right, hand driven ones as well.
High, medium, fast, slow. And this gun, up until 2 shots ago, was doing really well. Oh, yeah. In the modern era, this is the guns that we shoot, isn't it? It's bigger, heavier guns, a more calculated style.
Soaks up the recoil of the steel really nicely.
Yeah, this is it. They're not a punchy shell, but if we move to the 3s in a sec,
yeah, they'll be fine.
Thank you, sir.
Go on, get stuck in.
No, that's on the edge of what I feel like steel can cleanly kill. So it's best just not to shoot it. Right, this is just so easy to shoot.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
This is in a top 10 guns of all time, like in terms of ease. It says, cleanly missing a very simple bird. Could say something intelligent about it, but there's not a lot intelligent to say other than
it just feels
this
right.
is just good. I can feel no holes in the shoot ability. I think you get too stuck in, don't you? And then you just start waving your gun around thinking, because you pay attention, you kill a few really nicely, and then you just think it's easy.
It's like maybe waving magic wand around, but you do, like you say, you can get off them pretty quickly.
Yeah, you need to be engaged. You need to be present with the gun.
Especially on this drive.
This is an insane drive.
It's completely different from everything else we've shot this morning.
Well, you don't mind those sort of higher, straighter driven bits, but there's some good birds here, and where they're coming from such angles, they're working on the wind, the speed is there.
Their lines are all over the place.
Yeah, it's suddenly the simple driven shot of just beat, pull out is no longer good enough because it can be anywhere, any height and any speed. And when my head was actually in the game, this gun is, the name Prestige actually fits. And you see so many guns with these kind of bollocks names that you just go, you don't deserve that.
No, she's a corker.
Prestige fits.
Yeah, does the job. And like I say, it's built for job, built for purpose, and it just does everything it says on the tin. With the weight, the palm swell, the balance, it's a cracking all-rounder. And it comes with custom stock as standard in the price? It does indeed, yeah, 8,800 and a bit, and you're fully custom. About 9-10 month lead time currently.
Do you go out to Italy to someone like Sevieri and get that done, or are you fit in-house?
Yeah, so we'd have a gun fit done in-house, so our showroom in Oxfordshire, come down, get measured up, have a good shoot with the gun. We've obviously got demos for people to use, and then a fully adjustable tri-gun. So get all that done in-house, and then send the measurements off to the factory, get it made up. 9 months later, you've got your custom gun, fits you like a glove, and you're ready to go and have some fun with it.
If it had a P in front of the name, everyone would touch themselves over it.
Yeah, especially for that.
But it does.
Money.
Pow.
The right P.
The right P.
Yeah.
The right P for you. Is this a 30?
That's 30.
I think it's the extra rib weight probably makes it feel a bit more.
You can have it with the ventilated mid-rib if you want to, but for sort of proper game gun, it just does the job.
It's classy, isn't it? If you're buying a clay gun, you're probably, let's be honest, not going to be looking at a William Powell. That said, I would take that and shoot sporting clays with it all day long. Like, it just feels...
Yeah. Feels right, doesn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. And as we said, the problem is once you shoot guns like this, everything else feels not quite...
No. It's
good
a road
enough.
of no return, isn't it? It's a slippery slope.
I would say, I guess customization is fairly limitless.
Pretty much, yeah. The sky's the limit. You can do what you need to do with it, really.
Right, I'm actually in love with that.
Good.
I mean, we've shot some nice guns today, but this is exceptional.
Shot some nice birds with it, I'd say.
Oh, thank you, sir. You say that to all the boys, don't you?
No.
All right, perfect.
Very nice.
You were saying, we'll go to the studio and look at the detachable trigger and all the cool stuff in a minute. You're going to be renewing this without detachable trigger, potentially.
Yes. Yeah. We just don't see customers asking for it. They don't have a need for it.
It's a clay shooting sort of thing,
If
generally.
you're shooting a trap gun, it's a different story. But if you're in the middle of a competition, it's slightly different to if you're in the middle of the game field, because how many people carry around a separate trigger unit or a separate spring or something like that? It just
probably easier to have two guns.
Exactly. Buy a pair, we'll do a good deal, and you'll be well away.
Thank you very much. Like, do you mind if I shoot this on the next try?
Carry on.
Thanks, mate.
That's what I thought.
I mean, the other guns are nice, but this is hard to put down.
Yeah.
Impossible to put down.
Yeah, she ticks a lot of boxes.
So although this was the last gun I shot on that wonderful day at Lord & Shaw's when we were reviewing some William Powells, this is the first video you're going to see, and it's because it was my favourite, and I can't wait to see the footage of it out in public, because the more people that know about this gun, the better. Let's clip it together and see what it's all about. So let's just reiterate the situation that happened. I take this gun out, I pick it up and I go, that's nice. A lot of my immediate love of it is the fact that it's an 8-pound over and under with a fairly cute pistol grip. It's not too big, it's still quite slim around the neck, it feels good. It's the sort of gun you pick up and you know it means business. It doesn't fit me very well particularly because it's not my gun, but it's a beautiful thing. I'll say it is a beautiful thing. So before the camera was even rolling on that drive, I'd taken this gun out at the beginning of the day, and out of the three, it's obviously the one that I'm gonna fall in love with the most. Firstly, it's £8,500, so it was more expensive than the other two guns I was reviewing. Secondly, it's a box action gun. All box action guns are pretty cool. It's got a big pistol grip, it weighs a shade over 8 pounds, it's got solid mid and top ribs, it's just, everything about this gun is my cup of tea. So I knew it was going to be something that I'd like. However, when I took it out on that drive and a partridge comes down the back of the line, single shot it, and that then happened for the next 5 birds. And when a gun comes together like that and falls in love with you as much as you fall in love with it that quick, one has to pay attention. That is a serendipitous moment. The amount of guns that I have reviewed and you have to work and learn, this is not one of them. It is one of the most instinctive 8-pound guns I've ever shot, given that the stock doesn't fit me at all. So let's have a look at what it is. It is a very beautiful piece of wood. It's got a large palm swell as standard and quite a full pistol grip. What's quite nice is actually the distance between the pistol grip and the trigger, although it's a full grip, gives you enough room that you can actually reach for the trigger. A lot of these things get a little bit trappy. This still lends itself as a game gun. It's not too controlling a grip, and it's quite slim through the neck. You can choke up and it allows for that versatility that a game gun needs. This gun was specifically designed for high bird shooting, but to be honest, for me, a lot of us shoot a lot more clays than game, and so it's important that the guns that we use for clays aren't completely alien from the guns we use for game. This particular model is a 2018 gun. There's going to be some changes to it in 2022, which I honestly now think is such a shame because I can think this gun is as close to perfect as you've ever want. The safety is automatic and is sort of the place where the engraving of this gun starts. It's actually really nice. The attention to detail over every piece of this gun is absolutely spot on. The acanthus engraving covers the whole action. It's very pretty. You have a couple of polished areas, the William Powell banner down the side, and it's hand finished. That hand finishing just obviously adds that extra depth. It's nice. The gun is not made in England. That's something that should be noted, although it really doesn't matter, because if you can find a gun that looks like this made in England for £8,500 brand new with custom fitted stock, I will eat my hat. It's made in Italy. The engraving is signed by Bottega Giovanelli. This is a lovely thing. It is a detachable trigger gun. You push the safety forward, all the way forward, a little bit extra, and then this unit will fall out. As of 2022, it's no longer going to be a detachable trigger gun. William Powell think that, to be honest, their customer base don't want it. Nobody actually uses it. It is not the most common thing to actually be involved in. And I'm in two minds about that. I'd love to know your thoughts. Detachable trigger units are pretty pointless, but as party tricks go, pulling out your beautifully machined thing is, it's nice. I suppose to really have the benefit of it, A, you're going to have to keep a spare trigger unit, probably. The whole point being that if something breaks in there, you can clip your next one in. Or B, you're going to have to keep all of the spares and tools to replace them. Otherwise, having a detachable trigger unit is vaguely pointless, other than as a cool party trick. Either way, I'm not against detachable triggers, but I can get why they'd want to remove it, because it also allows people to take their trigger units out, and having seen some pretty awful home gunsmithing and attempts to fix very minor non-issues over the years, it's probably best to keep it locked in there. What I do like about this gun is the extremely long and sleek top lever. And there's an obvious temptation when a gun is quite big and long to have quite large parts. The safety catch, again, it's very large, but it's quite sleek. That top lever and the lines of this gun, for an 8.5 pound gun that is pretty junky, I think is actually really beautiful. The forend is in a rounded American style. Again, given the customization options of all things on this William Powell, I would have thought you could change that if you wanted. But if you're also ordering an 8-pound gun, the chances are you want something to hold on to. It's got a lever release on the bottom with no engraving on the forend iron, which is a strange choice, but actually I quite like it. It kind of just has the steel blacked and blended in with the wood. It's a different choice, but I don't dislike that as a choice. It keeps the engraving over the action and the end of the forend iron, which is nice. And they do seamlessly go together. Not seamlessly, they do go together. As you can see, it has a boss action, meaning you have the drawers built in up the sides, trunnions cut in here, and the two locking lugs actually don't go into the bottom. There's no bottom bite, they come in here and here. Well, that allows you as a slightly shallower action than some of the other designs out there. It's nice. It's also quite meaty, it's quite wide. That'll add some center weight, which, I don't know, I find the geometry of a boss action, the squareness, quite nice, for me. The barrels have a solid top rib. It is tapered, which is really quite pleasant actually. It's not super tapered though, so it's still quite chunky. It's a nice sight plane. It also has a solid mid-rib. I believe this is going to go vented again in 2022. Given the sort of level of shots that can go through a pair of guns like this, I guess the extra cooling is quite nice. But if you ask them nicely, I'm sure they could make you a solid mid one a la 2018. The balance point is about ½ an inch in front of the hinge, and this is a 30-inch fixed choke gun. They come half and half as standard with HP steel proof, so they are pretty much future ready, and I shot some steel through them all of that day. And I mean, it didn't blow up because it wouldn't, because it's a HP steel proofed gun with half and half choke. The extra weight from the solid top and mid ribs is actually what gives it that front end weight, because the overall weight is all right. To be honest, I didn't even clock it was a 30-inch because it handles a bit like a 32 with that extra barrel weight. I would even go as far as to say as for most average game shooters, a 30-inch one of these would be absolutely fine. So there you go. This is the gun that surprised me massively, that I shot better than I should have been able to shoot it, certainly the partridges. I even took this gun out on the last drive when Sasha was off filming someone else, and I liked it. I didn't do quite so well with it at that point, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. One has to understand that if you're not paying a huge amount of attention, then there is going to be little issues like the stock fit. But if you had this gun custom fitted to you, it would be absolutely mustard. I really like it. And that is all I have to say. Go and check one out. These things are, if you think about their competition, which, you know, begins with a P, it represents insane value. The fact that it comes with a custom fitted stock in the price that's done here in the UK is a really nice thing. And that's going to affect certainly their lower grade guns more, the lower priced guns more, because as you'll see in the next few months as those videos gets released, getting a custom fitted side by side for under £5 is no easy task out there in the world, especially built to a quality with a 5-year warranty like these guns have. I suppose technically it's actually a 3-year warranty, but as long as you get it serviced by them in those first 3 years, they'll extend it to 5, which is good. I was pleasantly surprised, and I still smile and think back at the memories, and to be honest, that doesn't happen often, and that in itself makes this gun utterly worthy of note. Go and check them out, the link's in the description. Drop William Powell any questions you have. They are nice, very nice. Nice seems like an understatement. They are a thing that you should be aware of and want to know about, and possibly even want to own. Take care guys, we'll see you next time.